Okay. Walk 51 on August 24th. Must be about 9:10. Having to get out a wee bit earlier, just too much to do. As ever. Okay, never quite made it out yesterday, just had far too much on. I did, if I could have had a spare 2 or 3 hours then, but no, I just never had it. It's funny how you do feel it has been considerably colder, even just in 2 days. And today is cold. Well, by comparison, cold. I am taking a risk today because the school runs will be finished and people will be out with their dogs. Normally I'd be walking closer to lunchtime, but again, meeting up with a friend for lunch. So what is quite nice is the day's really left yet to heat up properly. So it is, the path trail's a bit softer, but it is cooler. Got 3 on mono just in case. I suppose now you can feel that I mean, for the last wee while you have been feeling that change in the air, and this is really the start. So we've got about 7 months of, 7 or 8 months of it being pretty grim. However, we had a good summer, so there are quite a lot of questions I do have to ask any viewers. So, well, the last walk was great. That was round Arthur's with Annika, and it was great. It gave me somebody to play off. So, but today is a bit of a slog because it is walk 51. So you're like, oh Christ, only another 49 to go. However, I reckon I can get 10 walks done in the next 10 days. I think that's got to be the big one. Now, some of them might be early morning. I was thinking about trying to catch basically the sun coming up over the field. But we'll see. Walk 51, I just never thought I'd ever get this far. Even in the early summer, I just never really had no targets, even now. And like I've often said, what was really one thing became something different. I suppose because like I've said in the past, I always wanted to do the FCP barefoot. I think because I haven't done it in shoes, then it was such a good walk. But looking at the terrain, especially looking at certain areas, I'm just going to do my usual walk. I'm not going to go to the south of it. I'll just do kind of like the double back C shape. Still need to get into the shower, get ready, get some emailing done, maybe be on the trail for it. Again, as ever, I'm chronically indecisive. In fact, yeah, we'll go down. We'll do a 40-minute walk, and it allows me to look at the other field. where was it? Yeah, walk 51 is a bit of a slog because, you know, with 52 come 53 it's not too bad. Then 54 you're getting there, and you kind of know where. Anyway, yeah, I had no idea where I was really going with this. The intention was to do the FCP, write a book about it, and yeah, I could diary it up and so on. But I think it's became something different. It's just became. I've been putting the vid walks since walk 20 on YouTube. The Facebook thing hasn't really taken off. Likewise, Twitter, that's not really been touched. Got 13 followers. YouTube videos seem to be the ones getting the hits. So be it. It's all about getting the word out. It's also all about trying to get some form of community. But the best way of getting community is by the two forms that I've yet to take off. I did put it on the Facebook site today. I did put it on the Barefoot Walking Association trail today. It's just something that myself and Danica were talking about. Because nobody does the whole, this whole thing. Because nobody does any kind of barefoot walking tours or anything like that within Edinburgh. Or Scotland in general. Because 8 months a year it's impossible. Although dare say, personally I would love to be out here on Christmas Day, just sneaking up before, getting up before everybody, before anyone else does, and doing it. Weather permitting obviously, but even if I did about a quarter of a mile, just, and obviously you've got the frost coming in, but again I still want to give it a shot. Even, I don't know, the idea is borderline lunatic, but the idea is that if I'm out here every day, then hopefully my skin tolerance and my cold tolerance will have built up. My memory of last winter was quite intense. Now this is also going to be quite intense. That's not that bad. It's a bit cold, but not too bad. But you still have to walk slowly. Okay. Temperature's obviously got to be a big one, especially around here. Now, in a few months these will, in a month or, see how slidey it is. Okay. In a month or two these will thrust over, and again that's going to be, I'll probably just end up walking the grass around it. So yeah, myself and Danica were talking about it the other day. I can feel it heating up now though. This isn't going to happen in about 2 months time. Instead end of October, was it? End of October. No chance it'll just be cold. So, myself and Annika were talking about how nobody does any kind of barefoot walking tours. And I drew up about 8 trails that would be doable. Not this, just scorched earth. I don't know if we're actually allowed to walk on this because there's no obvious trails, but what's it? The Scottish Right of Way law says that if a trail hasn't been walked in 20 years, then you're not allowed to do it. These have got no idea that there's no clear trail, which is annoying. I've been looking at Google Maps in this area, and obviously looking south, there's a lot of trails. So my debate is, okay, granted, I mean some of those trails are about 3-4 miles away. 3-4 miles as opposed to 300-400 yards. Also, I don't know these areas. They're only a few miles away, but they're a few miles south. Again, I don't drive, but I think most people stick to what they know, and yeah, I don't know these places. So, but in the case of the 8 trails that I was looking at, there were nobody worth anything would be coming out here. So the trails that I did have in mind were places of significance, or places that are relatively easy to get to. There was a couple quite short ones, a couple quite long ones. In fact, I think the longest would be about 15-20 miles, but it would actually be an amazing walk, because it's generally all beaches or cliffs and things like that. The downside to that one is because it's right next to the sea, you've got the sea breeze. It's one for maybe, I don't know, about late March onwards. Myself and Annika were also talking about doing the Forth Road Bridge, either of them. It's not one for the faint-hearted. Well, it's not one for the faint-hearted because they're both suspension bridges, so therefore you're continuously moving. It's an option. Also, the fence is only about 4 feet high. You won't get blown off it, but definitely won't get blown off it, but it's 4 feet high. Now, I was looking on Google Maps, and it's something that I'm going to investigate next week. Not today, but definitely next week from here, from this very spot. And it's something that I should have been thinking about for ages, but I've checked it on Google Maps, but I don't know if there's a trail. I don't know if you'll be able to see just beyond those trees, just straight ahead. There's a couple of big fields. I don't know if those have walkways. Now, obviously you've got a field with horses directly opposite me. Hope those guys don't mind being on YouTube. I could walk along a bit, cut over, and see if I can get into those. The walk itself is probably going to be quite boring because it was this. Well, certainly Tuesday. Weekend I'll probably keep it boring, keep it walking along here. Then next Friday meant to be doing the Forth Road Bridge with Annika. I like the idea of doing the Forth Road Bridge, the Forth Road bridges, because they're iconic. Arthur's Seat again was wonderfully iconic, and to be fair, we had, again, it's what I've always said, that it's easier to do it in twos or groups. The idea of this latterly has been to develop a community. Talking to Annika, she can't believe that nobody else does this. I did think about starting a website, and which I did at the start of the year. If I'd known what I was doing, it's not a question of me being bad on the computer, it's just been a question of, unless you know exactly what you're doing with any kind of web design, then you feel totally out of your depth, and I did. I think, yeah, I mean, okay, I did one of those 3 months on GoDaddy, which was fine. After that, they wanted about 200 and odd quid up front, or whatever it was. And that's fine, but I just didn't have it at the time. And it's money that could go in better places if you're... On top of that, at that time I didn't really have any idea of what I was selling, or I didn't really have any idea of where this was going. And to a point I still don't. I did, at the time, I did design a logo. I actually put a bit of thought into it, but again, I never actually saw this as a business. I never really saw this as anything. Why would I? It's just some guy, some fat middle-aged guy walking barefoot. But I never saw this as being anything that could make money, basically, or even money that could sustain. Basically, have I been interested in making money out of this? No, definitely not. I don't think it's a commercial enough idea, and certainly it's not an interesting enough idea. However, it is one which people may or may not be interested in. To do it in Scotland is completely ludicrous, but there may just may be people interested in it. What I will say, and what I've always said, is irrespective of the financial aspect, which doesn't really bother me, as I've always said, it's not been about that, it's about developing a community. Well, in part it's been about developing a community, in part it's also been about just the experience of it. It's been about a lot of things. What started out as one thing actually developed into something totally different, or certainly seems to be. There's a lot of questions that I've got that I do have, and there's questions that I need to ask of myself. A big question, as well as any of the viewers. If I was to organise a tour, I really would not be interested in making anything out of it. If I was basically to organise a group whereby we have, I don't know how we do it, in Edinburgh, would I go for the whole tourist angle and get tourists to follow me barefoot across the city or wherever? Or would I ask people to book ahead, call me, we'll arrange and we'll do it? I suppose if I asked to pay cash up front, then that's the way they're guaranteed to show up at the same time. The worst thing about organising anything like that is the inevitable call-offs. So you're not telling me that any of those walking tours don't have times where there's literally nobody showing up. Added to that, that would mean that I would also have to set up a business account, which means paying VAT, which means having all kinds of things, which is a bit of a pain when you've got other more important things to do in life. However, it's not a question, like I say, it's not a question of making money, because anything like that would get pumped straight into, well, all the other things like street vending licenses. And I don't even know how much a street vending license is. I don't even know how to set up a small business, although I'm pretty sure you could find that out online with great ease. So there's a lot of work, and I'm not sure that there's enough interest in it for there to be that amount of work. What I could do is, what I've asked on the Barefoot Walking Association website is to see if, because there's only like about 5 followers, or 5, and 2 of those I know personally. What I would like to know is, if I was to, even if I was just to arrange a meetup, how people would respond to that, how people would respond to the routes I would be going on, how people would be responding to. At the end of the day, I'm never going to put anybody at risk. Every day I walk about, well, try to walk about 2 miles. This route's roughly about 2 miles. It's nothing drastic. Even volunteers walk, where the walk that myself and Danica did 2 days ago, it wasn't desperately bad. It's only a couple of miles. The most I've ever walked would be about 3, and it just about killed me, partly because the terrain was so bad, and that was me not doing my homework. If I was to do anything like that in the future, then I would definitely be doing my homework. There's no way I would be putting anyone at risk. To be honest, trails like this are ideal, but they very rarely exist. Even volunteers, volunteers walk. What I did find, I found a lot of things interesting about it. Is first time I did it, it was okay. It was at the end of a cold winter, and I had one of those bizarre winters. Anyone who's experienced it up here would tell you that it was, when kids are making snowmen at Easter, then something bizarre's going on. Okay, global warming. Anybody who's heard these videos knows more or less what I think about that. Overpopulation, etc, etc. Third world's no longer the third world, because, oh my God, help them if they don't have Wi-Fi. They're starving, they're broken, they're refugees, they're all over the place, but you've still got to have Wi-Fi. Anyway, that's another. It's not that I'm right wing, I feel sorry for these people, but how is it a third world if they've got Wi-Fi? Anyway, point being, I don't know if there's enough of a community. If so, maybe I should start advertising. Advertising costs money. It doesn't cost a lot of money, but it's still advertising costs money, not a lot of money, but it still costs. So, okay, on Facebook, what's it? If I could reach 420 people for about, up to 420 people for about $1 a day. Okay, £7 in a reach. About how many people, and who are they? Do I maybe a bit sneaky and advertise in other groups? How do I do this? So, I don't know, I kind of need ideas. At the moment, I think we have done, I think my daughter counted up, she did halfway around. Always kind of like these views. Okay, we've done about 50 plus videos. We've done quite a lot. Most of them are because I've dropped the camera, not dropped, slipped, done whatever. C'est la vie, that's life. What I do have to there is bits, I mean, I have given this a bit of thought, but again, it's coming into the wrong time of year where people are kind of getting ready for Christmas, the weather's turning, who the hell's going to want to go barefoot in this weather apart from myself? You see, I mean, occasionally you would see people walking about the city barefoot, but generally those were travellers, are generally people appearing in the festival. Yep, I do have the logo. I just need to get a few things copyrighted, but again, everything costs money, and yeah, I could dump a few £100 into this, but the question is, where does it go? So, while I like the idea of walking about, doing some kind of tour work, with various commitments, I could probably only do it in the evenings and weekends. I would also be, I'm not really interested. I look at the tour prices in Edinburgh anyway, and the areas that I would be going would be pretty generic. Technically, yeah, it would be great to go somewhere like the Vaults or underneath Princess Street, but again, you'd have to be paying the local council God knows what, or you would have to be paying them a percentage, or then you've got to do all kinds of health and safety issues, and then you've got to write up contracts and all that sort of nonsense, and you've got to be, and because we're barefoot, then I mean, do I get sued if somebody gets a cut foot, or so there's a lot of considerations. Obviously, if somebody cuts a foot, can I get charged? Which reckless endangerment. So what I would have to say is, no matter what we do, if you get hurt or bruised, you will. That's what you signed up for. That's what I sign up for every time I'm out here. What was it? 1 splinter and 51 walks. Well, 50 and a half. We're not quite at the 51 mark. A couple of bruises here and there. What I will say is the change in the temperature does make a big difference to how much you don't really feel it in your feet after a while. You walk about 100 yards, quarter mile, you don't feel it. What you will feel is the stones instead. I don't know why, just when they're warmer, the tolerance is a lot better. That is how your tolerance is so much better when it's at this type when it's warmer, but then it has to be just the right temperature because 17 degrees was perfect for us. It was 17 degrees the other day. It was damp, it was clammy. It was good walking weather. As for this is it's more the wind rather than anything. And it's not even a particularly strong wind. I mean, when you've got days like this where it does look good, the camera's not quite good enough to pick up East Lothian. But it feels good. I mean, okay, it's a cold wind, it is going to better get used to it because we're completely exposed. The westerly wind will start really hitting us very, very soon. Again, we've talked about the business angle and where do we go. I'm interested to hear what other people have to say. I'm also interested for a lot of advice, because I'm not going to say take it as professional, but do we keep it on a voluntary, do we do it as a group aspect, or take it as from a group angle, or deal with a tourist angle? Deal with a tourist angle, then I don't speak any foreign languages, which means we're catering to Americans, Australians and people that can speak some form of English, which rules out myself. So there's a lot of things to consider. If I did, then the walks would be in countryside and around the city. Obviously I'd be taking a bag full of first aid kit and insecticides and whatever else. Plasters, saline, and being able to perform basic first aid, all that sort of thing. But then I would also have to do an additional course in basic first aid, and despite doing what I do, so it's all very complicated. It's what I would call alternately. What I do is I just get an alternate waiver and say, look, this is what can happen, you're responsible, you're on your own. I will provide basic first aid, but I will stem bleeding. If you are diabetic, be fucking careful. That sort of thing. Food and snacks would be provided on a voluntary basis. The F word of all gets said every now and then. But accept it and just enjoy the ride. Just about. And accept that things like that will also happen. So, I don't know. So, if anybody is viewing this, which okay. Which, if anybody is viewing this, then again, it's yep, any input is much welcomed. 45 minutes, so what, about 45-minute walk if that. I spend a couple of hours downloading. Not been putting much music on lately, just doesn't really make much, I don't think it makes any difference. However, I think I am intrigued about taking this forward. I just need some input, more than a little bit of advice. Strangely, you can feel the day really warming up even as I'm walking. Well, get in, go for a shower, head out again, run about again, go home, hug the cat, watch some bad movies. And yeah, sleep, wake up again, do the same thing again. Tomorrow's Saturday's a football day, so okay, last little bit. So, a bit of food for thought. Again, also if you're building a website, then you've also got to think about the costs. GoDaddy are wanting £20 a month. Okay, you get your first month free, but even then, to $240 a year. Realistically, plus. And what are you really paying for? Okay, you've got the 24-hour assistance. And you've got the domain name. But you need to be able to be contactable. So I think before I get to that stage, I need to have various forms filled in, street vendors, licenses. It'll be difficult to get anything done this side of the year. So, then you've got the advertising aspect, which interesting, but make sure I'm going to take my jacket off, getting a bit hot. In fact,